Rowan, that's really interesting. I mean, does Donald Trump have a point that, well, that Europe cannot be a strong ally anymore of America with mass immigration changing it so profoundly? Or is this an exaggeration, just a distraction from America's cost of living problems and its falling poll numbers?
Andrew, no, it's not a distraction. Donald Trump's not one of those politicians like, unfortunately, the ones we are blessed with here in Australia, who look at focus groups and run around with media strategists telling them, go and say this and go and say that so that you'll distract from this. I think the Annika Wells, whatever we're getting down the pipeline from Labor over Annika Wells would be a good example of that. Donald Trump doesn't bother with all that rubbish. He says what he means. He's always said what he means. He's been saying the same sort of stuff even before his political career. And the point here, Andrew, is Trump isn't saying anything new. He's merely observing what is happening in Europe. Now, the reality is in Europe, we've seen any number of countries, particularly Britain, where immigration has become a big political issue between both the previous Tory government were accused of not having, secure borders. Quite rightly, they had very open borders. This argument goes right back to when Boris Johnson was saying we've got to copy Tony Abbott and close our borders. So it's not a new argument in Britain. Likewise, in Germany, France, much of Europe, much of Northern Europe, governments have fallen, governments have changed because they haven't managed to secure their borders or because they've allowed immigration to such an extent that it threatens all sorts of aspects of what was previously the way of life there. So this issue is huge in Europe. You even have countries like Hungary, where Viktor Orban pays €1 million a day in fines to the European Union because he refuses to go along with the European Union's open borders policy. And I'll be talking about this on my Friday show that you kindly mentioned. He's even running ads now, inviting people to come for Christmas in Hungary because it is safer there, according to him, because of his borders policies. So if you've got a country running ads, tourism ads, forget where the bloody hell are you or anything like that, or Paul Hogan, another shrimp on the barbie. When you're running ads saying our country is safer because of our immigration policy, that ad doesn't come out of the blue. It comes out of focus groups. It comes out of research. It comes out of the sort of people who are traveling.
No, and it comes out of brutal reality.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've been seeing some of the Christmas markets in Germany. I mean, bollards everywhere to stop more truck bombings or truck rammings, rather. I mean, it's just disgusting. How can Christmas be a time of fear in Germany's Christmas markets? I mean, I can understand why this is a hot political issue and why politicians have got to grab hold of it. And I don't think that Donald Trump is saying much that a lot of politicians of the right in Europe aren't saying for themselves.
Absolutely. And, it's going to be the big issue here because this issue is not going away. And you mentioned the A word, the dreaded A word, not long ago, assimilation. It was the Whitlam government that cursed the A word and said, we're not going to have that any longer. We're not going to have integration, assimilation. Multiculturalism is the way forward. The first victim of cancel culture was, of course, the politician Enoch Powell, who in Britain in 1968 warned that you can't have immigration without assimilation and integration policies in place. He was demonized and cancelled and called a racist because of that. And ever since then, Andrew, anyone who raises this issue is called a racist, which is just a lazy way of the left saying we don't want to discuss the issue. It's too hard for us to defend.
Rowan, before we go, the social media ban on children today, the Prime Minister was saying he was giving power back to families. Well, I don't agree with that. Whether you back the ban or not, he's not doing that. He's giving power to government. Now, what do you make of this ban?
Well, I've been against it all along, Andrew. I certainly appreciate that there are issues to do with social media, not only for kids, but for everybody, but especially kids, and that there should be the tools in place for parents to be able to say to little Johnny or, little Susie or whatever, hang on, we've got to curtail this, and you've got to be aware of this, whether it's education programs, whether it's not allowing the hardware, the phones and so on into schools. There are plenty of other things they could have done rather than blanket bans. And the problem with the blanket ban like any kind of blanket ban, it's using a sledgehammer to crack a walnut, and it will have all sorts of unintended consequences, some of which you wisely and accurately mentioned earlier, Andrew.
Yes, well, I do wonder about removing this tool of communication from, like I say, children who are isolated, or the
Precisely.
loner in the class or something like that. But there's a cost there as well. Plus, you can actually learn something from social media as well as be made to pay. Rowan
Well,
Dean, thank you so much indeed for your time. Sorry.
yeah, thanks, Andrew.
All right. See you later, mate.